Hi guys, so you have to understand the people who are choosing the next Prime Minister, and Paul McNamara from Channel 4 News sat down with some of them. While he asked which candidate they were backing, it had some supporting Rishi Sunak while others Liz Truss, but all had good things to say about the current incumbent, Boris Johnson. This is the mentality of the current Tory party, and it seems no matter what Johnson does, he will always be held in high esteem. Have a listen to this.
They focus on the negatives always with Boris, you know. And now the positives were he got us through the pandemic, he got us through Brexit, he got the vaccination programme going. It was a hell of a job. It was the toughest job any Prime Minister has ever had.
Can I ask, do you think Boris Johnson would win you the next election?
Not now. He would have if he had been left alone.
If I had the choice of three, I would still stick with Boris because he did deliver on Brexit.
Okay, once again, this did deliver on Brexit. What does that mean? Can someone please explain to me what Boris Johnson delivering on Brexit actually means? I'm really stupid. I don't understand it. So please explain it to me. Use very simple language because I don't understand what the heck that's supposed to mean. He delivered on Brexit because we're still talking about Brexit. There are businesses that are struggling to import and to export. Is that delivering on Brexit? There's the Northern Ireland Protocol, which Boris Johnson's government has threatened to rip up on a number of occasions. Is that delivering on Brexit? There are shortages that haven't been fixed. Is that delivering on Brexit? Because once again, I don't understand what this term means. I would love to speak with somebody like this guy and ask him to explain to me in simple terms what deliver on Brexit means.
It did get us through the pandemic.
He got us through the pandemic. Once again, explain to me, what does that mean? Because over 150,000 people died. He didn't get all of those people through the pandemic. Now, of course, many people died because it was not possible to save them, but there were mistakes Boris Johnson made at the beginning. He refused to go to Cobra meetings, which he was advised to attend. He didn't go into lockdowns that he was advised to enforce by SAGE on a number of occasions. This obviously resulted in many people dying. Sending people from hospital into care homes, which was advised against. He went through with it anyway. What does get us through the pandemic mean?
He was the first world leader to get us out of lockdown.
The first world leader, okay, as I said before, some countries went into lockdown and out of lockdown before the UK. So, and even if he was the first world leader to get us out of lockdown, there are consequences of leaving lockdown too early. And SAGE were telling the government, don't leave lockdown too early. We want to make sure that we have the measures in place to protect people. But Boris Johnson got us through lockdown, or got us through the pandemic and got us out of lockdown first.
He's loved by the Ukrainian people for what he was, the way he's helped them.
Yeah, now, this is something that's actually true. The Ukrainians have a very positive view of Boris Johnson. And Boris Johnson's government, and I've said this before, and I say it again, kudos to the UK government for what they have done on the military front in Ukraine. They have provided them with weapons, they've provided them with training, which is also very important, and they've been doing it for many years. And I've said before, well done to Boris Johnson's administration on that front. But when it came to refugees, his government were throwing as many obstacles in their way as possible, while still claiming to be welcoming.
And the Ukrainian president, when he stepped down, was absolutely, he was devastated. He rang him up and said, I'm sorry that you're gone.
Yes, because he saw Boris Johnson as an ally. When he needed weapons, he could call Boris Johnson and Boris Johnson would try and help him out. And now Boris Johnson's gone and he's concerned that whoever will replace him may not be willing to do the same thing. Of course he's concerned.
You've been beside me, so he got the massive calls, right?
Which of these calls? Okay, the only thing you could say is support for the Ukrainian military. But how does that help people in Britain? I'm not saying it's not something I'm not saying it's not something positive. As I've said on a number of occasions, yes, it is. And kudos to the UK government for supporting the Ukrainian military. But how does that help people in Britain? You haven't actually presented some benefit to people in Britain yet.
But it was his own. But I can appreciate his own worst enemy.
The reality is that he delivered on things that no other person probably could have done. I mean,
what the heck does that mean? Nobody could have done it? So if Jeremy Corbyn had been in charge, and I've said this before, if Jeremy Corbyn had been in charge, do you think as many people would have died? Do you think he would have refused advice from SAGE, or he would have refused to go to Cobra meetings? Do you think he would have told people just to take it on the chin? Do you think he would have given contracts to donors of the party, or made sure that the contracts went, also other contracts went to members of his party who were, chair people on, or members of boards of some of these companies? Do you think he would have done that? I don't think so.
Death by a thousand cuts. There was so much negativity about him.
They keep blaming the media here. It's the media that brought him down. They were saying such bad things about Boris. Not that he lied or that he was corrupt or anything like that. No. It's all media fabrication.
And there's only so much you can carry on in there. And so in reality, every politician has their shelf life. I just think his expired a little earlier than it should have done. And for that reason, I think it wouldn't have, in the next general election, we needed a new candidate. But it would have been good for him to finish his 5 years and say, I've done everything that I said I would do.
Boris Johnson promised to build 40 new hospitals. Even if Boris Johnson continued to the end of his time in Parliament as Prime Minister, he wouldn't have completed 40 new hospitals. He never intended to build 40 new hospitals. There was nothing stopping him from hiring 20,000 police officers or 50,000 nurses. But he decided not to do that. So he lied and then is now claiming, well, I can't complete these things because I've been removed before I was able to finish the job. And once again, these are the people who will decide if the next Prime Minister is Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss. It's looking more and more likely to be Liz Truss, as she's a sort of Boris Johnson 2.0. Better hair, but still the lies and corruption. And it's just going to be more and more of this for the next number of years, unfortunately. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.